The forest around me was getting darker, as if someone was turning off the lights in a huge, endless room. Trees, like the outstretched arms of skeletons, stretched towards the sky, blocking the last rays of the setting sun. I walked further and further, not realizing that I was lost, until it became completely dark. The wind whispered among the branches, as if invisible beings were whispering behind my back. Every rustle made me flinch, but I continued to walk forward, hoping to find my way back. And then I heard a mysterious sound. It was unlike anything I had heard before. The sound was like a mixture of crying and whispering, quiet but insistent. He pulled me forward, as if calling me. I couldn't resist and went towards the sound, despite my inner fear and common sense, which told me to return. It soon became so dark that I could barely make out the outlines of the trees in front of me. Only the moon breaking through the foliage illuminated the path. Suddenly I saw a house. Old, abandoned, with boarded-up windows and dilapidated walls, it stood like a ghost among the trees. I felt a little relieved to see him. The house seemed to be the only refuge in this creepy forest. As I got closer, I noticed that the doors were slightly open and there was a faint light coming from inside. It was empty and quiet inside, only the old boards creaked under my steps. I decided to stay here until dawn. After all, what could be worse than wandering around the forest in the dark? There were paintings inside the house. Strange, scary pictures hanging on the walls. They glowed with a dull greenish light, as if they contained some ancient and sinister secret. The faces in the paintings seemed alive. Their eyes followed me wherever I went. I tried not to look at them, but their ominous glances pierced me right through. Finally, fatigue took its toll, and I lay down on the old, dusty sofa, hoping to fall asleep. But the pictures did not give me peace. They whispered something, barely audible, but no less creepy for that. I closed my eyes and tried to think about something else, and at some point I fell into a restless sleep. When I woke up, the first rays of the sun were already breaking through the windows. I was surprised to realize that the paintings had disappeared. In their place were windows through which the morning sun shone. I walked up to one of them and looked out. The forest, which seemed so scary and hostile at night, now looked quite normal. I felt like I had woken up from a long, terrible nightmare. I left the house and headed in the direction where I thought I had come from. But when I looked back, I saw that the house was no longer there. In its place, there was only a small clearing surrounded by trees. There was no trace left of the strange pictures and ominous whispers. When I finally got out of the forest, I was overcome by the thought that it was all just a figment of my imagination, that I was simply lost and nervous. But sometimes when I wake up at night, I still hear that whisper, and the eyes in the paintings continue to follow me in my dreams.